Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
First, a word from this month's sponsor, Ethico.
If you're a compliance officer, middle managers are crucial in getting your programs from you to your frontline employees. But how do we activate those managers and get them on our side? Ethico's new Middle Manager Toolkit equips you with the skills needed to empower your managers, to promote a culture where ethical behavior thrives and employees feel empowered to speak up. Learn how to turn frontline managers into ethical leaders with our new white paper, Empowering Middle Managers as Ethics Champions. And did I mention you can get the whole toolkit for free? Head to ethico.com to download the full toolkit today.
If you're wondering about what you can do if you find yourself in an FCPA compliance action, check out the FCPA Survival Guide. It's my latest book. It's sponsored by Ethico, and in it, I take up and write the top 10 things you can do to reduce your overall fine and penalty if you find yourself in an FCPA enforcement action. So check out the FCPA. The Daily Compliance News for January 7, 2025, the BitMEX Spanked Yet Again edition. And we begin with that story from the Wall Street Journal, Risk and Compliance Journal, David Smagala reporting that the crypto exchange BitMEX was fined an additional $100 million for anti-money laundering failures. The fine was imposed on BitMEX was lower than prosecutors had asked for. In July, the company pled guilty to one count of violating the bank secrecy agreement. The BitMEX, in a very interesting press release, said it was old news. And while it was disappointed with the penalty, it was so much less than they had expected. It was a win. Hey, how about that? Next up, in a very interesting story from Payments Intelligence, Wells Fargo says that its 2024 Q4 2024 financial results were no different, but that the bank's leadership stressed that the quarter was a different reason for more than just financials. It marked a significant turning point in the bank's commitment to risk management and compliance. The CEO told investors that building the right risk and control infrastructure remains our top priority, and we continue to invest in this important work. Maybe Wells Fargo's finally gotten the message. Who knows? Next up from Business Insider reports that Chinese military corruption purges are just the tip of the iceberg, and that comes from the Pentagon and could put Beijing's ambitions in danger. Why are you thinking Stalin and the purge of Russian officer corps in the 30s? Well, that would be a very good reason, as this could negatively affect the readiness of the Chinese military going forward. And finally, the lawyers for Cognizant technology individual defendants simply will not stop, and they are now asking for the government's strategy around the key witness, Indian national, Ramamurthy, and I completely butchered that. Sorry. But he is expected to testify at a trial, but the lawyers said, well, we don't have assurances that he'll come. Well, he's a government witness. Why are they wanting assurances that he'll come? Because they want to know the government's trial strategy and how they're going to use him. That's not what you get to do in a trial. So the Cognizant defendants, I don't know if they're trying to delay the trial yet again. We're talking about events from nearly 10 years ago. So we'll see. Have a great weekend. At the start of this podcast, the sponsor for the entire Compliance Podcast Network is Ethico. Well, Ethico has a great new offering this month for you, a toolkit for middle managers. This is something that you, as the compliance professional, can use to move your compliance program forward by giving middle managers the skills necessary to answer a call for speak up or when someone comes in their office and raises a concern. I can't think of a tool that will be more valuable for you in the current era of enforcement. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.